Hello e-commerce sellers, and welcome to today's video. In this tutorial, I will be talking about one of the biggest opportunities out there for you, and that is Pinterest. More specifically, Pinterest catalogs and how you can connect your catalog of products to your Pinterest account. When you do that, you're not only going to get access to a new tab on your Pinterest profile, the shop tab, where whoever is visiting your profile, they can see all of your products out there very beautifully. So it's basically a free storefront on the app. But also, Pinterest automatically creates buyable pins whenever you connect your catalog, and that means that Pinterest users can buy your products with just 2 clicks, super easy. So that's what I mean when I say this is one of the biggest opportunities out there, because this is 100% free. So free exposure for your product and so easy. Not to mention, Pinterest has been heavily investing on their e-commerce side. So they have been really pumping and boosting pins that are buyable for Pinterest users. So again, you don't want to miss this opportunity. And there's a few ways that you can connect your catalog to Pinterest. Some of them are easier than others. For example, if you have your own website hosted on Shopify, then it's very easy. You just have to download the Pinterest app and connect your Pinterest to your Shopify account, and then Pinterest is going to automatically create that shop tab and those buyable pins for you. However, by doing the manual way, which is what I'm going to show you in this tutorial, you have a lot more control over the information that is going to be showing on those buyable pins. But it's also the only way to do it if your website is not hosted on Shopify or WooCommerce, with a few other exceptions that you're going to see soon. And in this tutorial, I also share a trick on how you can actually do this whole process for free, which I don't hear anyone else talking about. So I'm super excited to be sharing this video with you. And if you want to learn more tips and strategies to increase sales by using Pinterest, then check out our super affordable Pinterest marketing and advertising course on Udemy. Link to that will be in the description below, as well as all of the other links that I'm going to be mentioning in this video today. And one more thing, if we get 30 unique comments on this video, then one of you will get full access to the course for 100% free. So if you're the winner and if you have already purchased the course, then you'll get fully refunded, so you don't have to wait to purchase. Again, link will be in the description below. And don't forget that if you do like the video, be sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss videos just like this one in the future. And without further ado, let's get to the tutorial. Before we get started with creating our catalogs, we need to make sure that we're following these requirements. So first, we need to have a Pinterest business account, which I hope that by now you do. You need to have claimed a website. So the catalog needs to be from products on your claimed website. You need to also meet the criteria for these merchant guidelines. Very straightforward things, but be sure to open this link and analyze everything. Obviously, I'm going to leave the link to this page right here in the resources below. And you need to make sure that our data source, which we're going to be creating today, contains all of the required attributes that we're going to mention soon. And that you have the data sourcing hosting, which I'll show you how to do it. So, speaking of catalogs, you can do this in 2 ways. You can do it in an automatic way, very easy, or you can do it manually. Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to do it manually today. Automatically is very simple. You just need to have an account with one of these hosts, like websites, if you have your own website on Shopify or WooCommerce, or if you have an account with some of these other providers that you already have all of your data there of your products, then you can click on each one of these links and follow those instructions, and it's going to be very straightforward for you to automatically create your catalogs. And specifically with Shopify, all that you have to do, remember on our claims page that you could claim your website, and you could also install the Shopify app. Once you do that, it's that easy. Pinterest is going to import all of the details about your products, and it's going to create that shop tab for you and all of your product pins. So as long as the information that you have on those websites and on these accounts have the required fields that we're going to show you next, then you're good to go. Everything's going to be valid and you're going to have your catalog created. So if you keep scrolling down here on this link, there's going to be more information about each one of these steps. And then you're going to get to this part of about your data source. And this data source is how we're going to create our catalogs manually. So I've created this file for you that we're going to be using Google Sheets. That's what I would recommend. It is free. You just need to have a Google account, like a Gmail, and open this file for you. Once you open, just go to File and then Make a Copy. And then you're going to be able to have your own copy of this spreadsheet so you can input all of the details of your own products. And as you can see right here, I have highlighted in yellow everything that is required. So remember the pin right here, this is the product pin, and this is the information that you see. This is pretty much only the required information. But if you want to have even more information on your product pin, then, over here, then you can fill out all of these other attributes. But let's get started so you understand exactly what I'm talking about, and hopefully, even if they seem overwhelming and confusing, you're gonna know what to do very soon. Before actually I move forward to this, if you go to that link and if you keep scrolling down, it gives you all of the explanations about this data source. So it talks about the required fields as well as optional fields, and it gives you, if you keep going down, it gives you examples and the accepted information that you input for each one of those. So for example, availability, if you don't really know what they mean by that, there's a description of what that means, as well as what they accept as data when you're filling out. So it could be in stock, out of stock, or pre-order, for example. And that goes for every single one of the fields. So make sure to go through this. Or I've also filled out here on that first row a little bit of an explanation for you. So for the product ID, this can be anything that you want, honestly. It could be just a series of numbers, letters and numbers, but I would recommend that if you already have an ID on another website, like on your own website, if you already have an SKU or a UPC code or anything that you already can easily recognize that product by, then keep it consistent so you can manage all of your platforms more easily, having that same code for each product. But again, it could be anything that you want. It could be 123001, AB1, whatever you want. Next, we have the title. So that is just the name of your product. You can copy the exact title from your website. So usually when you open a product page, you're going to see the title for that product. So you could copy that title, or you can just create your own, something a little bit more tailored to Pinterest users if you want. Next, we have the description, and you have up to 10,000 characters here. However, I would recommend that you don't use them all, because as you can see here on this product pin, first of all, you cannot see the description right away. Users need to click on the little arrow to expand and read everything. And also, as of right now, Pinterest formatting is not very friendly to like spaces and paragraphs. So all of the text gets put together and it's a little bit too much, where most users, if it's a really long text, will avoid it. But you can do any type of description that you want. Also, you have the link. So this right here, you need to copy the URL of the exact product page for the specific product. So don't do your home page or just like that categories or anything too broad. It needs to be the exact product page. Next, you have your image link. So if you don't know how to get a URL for your product image, it's very simple. If you go to your website, For pretty much any image that you have, you can just click on it. Let's pretend this is my product. You can right click on the image and then click on Open Image in New Tab. Once you open a new tab, you're gonna see it's just the image. Then you can just copy the URL that you can't see right now, but you can copy the entire URL from the browser box, copy, and then paste it here, for example. Paste it, and there you go. This is like the image URL. I'm just gonna undo this. Next, you're gonna put the price, and you only need to put numbers. So if it's $39.99, you don't need to put any dollar signs, anything, just the numbers $39.99. Next, availability, as I already mentioned, it could be in stock, out of stock, or pre-order. And then we move to the optional fields. So first we have the item group ID. So as I mentioned, with catalogs, you can create different groups, and I'm going to show you that next within Pinterest. And you can do, for example, new arrivals, or for example, baby clothing, baby toys. It could be whatever types of groups that you want. So if you want to create those groups, or if you already have them created and you're just adding new products, you can name them here. Next, if you have variations of that product, so let's say I am selling t-shirts and I have that t-shirt in different colors and different sizes, then I would put here what is the variation theme over here on variation name, and then the variation value. So this one right here is for this specific row. Is it going to be the red one? Is it going to be the yellow? And then you can create multiple rows for each variation. And Pinterest is going to show those as options when someone opens your product pin. Next, we have the condition. If it's new, if it's used, I believe you have to check here what would be the acceptable values, but I'm assuming most of them that you'd be selling would be new. Next, your Google product ID. So this is actually really helpful for Google itself, for you to be ranking on Google through Pinterest, and also for Pinterest to understand your category as well and show it to people more easily. So the way that you can get this is by going to this link that it's a little bit overwhelming, but I'm going to also leave it in the resources below. You can always use Command F or Control F to try to find a specific word within this list and make it a little bit easier rather than just scrolling through everything. So for example, if you're selling like hair accessories, then you can start putting the word hair. And then for example, this one's for pets, but maybe, there we go. Apparel and accessories, clothing, hair accessories. Let's say this is what I'm selling. Then you would copy the whole thing. Copy, go back to your sheet, and then paste the whole thing here. And so I'm gonna undo this. For product type, this is something that what I recommend, that I've understood based on Pinterest's own examples, is the best way to find the most similar product type is by going to the ad creator and then going to interests and then copying that whole sequence of category to subcategory. So this is how you would do it. If you go to ads, create ad, then again, you can scroll down and click continue. We're not creating an ad. Select anything that you want just to enable this right here, interests and keywords. So click on interest and then try to find again the most similar category to what you're selling for that specific product. And so for example, let me see if I can do hair. Yeah, so if I do hair, again, it's going to show all of this path from broader category to the most specific, and the closest you can get, the better. Again, this is not required, but it is helpful to Pinterest for them to understand your product and recommend it to more people. But if this is too much work, if you have like thousands of products, then personally, I wouldn't worry too much about doing this for all of them. Maybe do this for your best sellers. But in case that you want to do it, if you can't find something too specific, just go with like hair accessories, then go back to your sheet and then paste it. Then I want to do it. Okay. And now any additional image, just grab the URL of images. And if you want multiple you can create new columns, like select the whole column, right click, do insert another column, and then copy this exact title and do another URL and another one and another one. And then you can have something like this here, multiple images, as many as you want for that specific product. Next, you will put the sale price. So again, if you have your regular price, but it's on sale and you want to do something cheaper, it's going to show crossed off, and maybe it's an extra incentive for users to purchase your product. So if you want to do that, you can write it here, the sale price, as well as the brand. Any of this, if it's not applicable, you can leave it blank. But gender, you can get all of the acceptable values here. So if you command F and do gender, it could do male, female, unisex. Those are the acceptable values. So age group as well. If we go here, let's see, age group. There we go. It could be any of these: adults, kids, toddler, infant, newborn. So again, anything that you want to be more specific to, want to give more information to, you can always refer back to that link that will be in the resources below. So age group. Next is size type, like petite, tall, anything like that, and confirm it by using the link. Shipping. So with shipping, if you want to show, for example, that you have free shipping, then you can write down here free shipping, or you can have a URL to your shipping policy if you want on your website. In general, I just leave this blank. I do know that there are other ways that you can write down shipping policies, like you just put US .0, that means like it's free shipping, something like that. But in general, personally, I just leave it blank. If someone wants to find out if they have free shipping, they can just go to our product page after they click on the product link. Next, any custom label. So let's say, for example, this is a bestseller and you want like it to show if it's a new arrival, anything like that. I do think that you can do new arrival. Let me do like custom labels. There we go. See, oh, okay. There's a few options like bestseller, summer promotions. I think I have seen new arrivals before. I haven't personally used it, but I do think you can always test it. And lastly, AdWords redirect. So if you do anything with Google AdWords and you want to use it here, if it's not applicable, just leave it blank. If not, you can input your data here from AdWords. And okay, once you're done, you are going to download this as a CSV file. So go to File, Download, and select comma separated values, CSV. You're going to download this and you're going to re-upload. Let me just do it, even though there's nothing concrete here about a product. So once you download, you're going to open your Google Drive. So just go to drive.google.com and you're going to upload this again. Even though it's already on your Google Drive and you're already using it as Google Sheets, once you get this link from the resources below, you still need to download it as CSV and then re-upload it right here. So here, okay, we're going to come back to this very soon and I'll explain why we had to do these steps. But for now, let's go back to our Pinterest account, and I will be using one of our clients' Pinterest accounts again, so a few things are going to be covered or blurred. But once you're here, from the menu, go to Ads and then click on Catalogs. Okay, so if you already have a catalog active, it's going to be showing up here. And even if you do have a catalog, you can add new data sources. So just click on this button, Add New Data Source. From here, we're going to do the following. We're going to name this data source. So it could be, for example, Hobart Products Catalog 1. Next, we're going to keep going here and we're going to come back to the product feed URL soon, because that's the secret why we were using Google Drive. So leave here the file format as CSV. For default availability, if you want all of your new items to the default, if nothing is filled in there for availability, then the default is going to go, for example, to in stock or out of stock or pre-order. So I usually put in stock. Next, you need to provide the product feed login details and password if you're using any sort of protected URL when you're doing this URL right here, but we're not going to be doing that, so you don't need to do that. And then you select the country, the language, and the default currency. And lastly, you do the time that you want your pins to be published, because again, once you connect your catalog, Pinterest is going to automatically create product pins for you. So you can select anything you want. I'm just going to do a random time, let's say 5 p.m. You can choose the time zone. And now the last step is going to be, we're going to put our product URL here. So first, I want you to copy this exact beginning of URL that I'm going to leave in the resources below. And that is the following. I already have it copied here. So no, don't worry about memorizing this. It's going to be in the resources below. And then stop right here on equal. And now we're going to go back to our Google Drive. We're going to right click on the file that we uploaded and click on Get Link. Right here under restrictor, change it to anyone with a link and then do copy link. And now we're going to go back to Pinterest. And I'm just going to do 2 spaces just to separate this beginning to the next one. We're going to do space, space, paste. And now we're going to only keep this right here. Anything between these 2 slashes after the D. Let me go here so you can see. So this is the new, it's the start and continuation of the new URL that we just pasted. You can also paste this somewhere else and then copy and bring it here. But this is just easier because we already have this open. So anything after this /D/ that's what we're going to keep. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this. So delete. Also, I automatically create a dot right here after the equal. It shouldn't be. Okay, so delete. And delete everything after this last number or letter, whatever it is. And when you have the /view, delete anything from that /forward. Perfect. This is going to be your URL. And I know this is complicated, but this is the only free way that I could find for you to do this. Otherwise, you would have to sign up for accounts, create such as Go Data Feed and other things like that. And you have to pay for that in order to get that URL. So this is how you do it. The last thing that you're going to do is this. Let me move myself out of the way. Right here at the bottom, you're going to click on Create Pins. And when you click that, it's going to take time and say like validating to see if they can actually read the data from your source URL. And if there's any issue, it's going to say that it failed and going to give you the reason why, or it's going to say that it's been validated and then your pins would be scheduled to be published at the time that you have created. Right now, I'm not clicking on it because the data here is just dumb data. There's nothing actually related to a product, but this is the step-by-step for creating your catalog. I know it seems overwhelming, but it's so worth it. Once you have all of these product pins, again, Pinterest is going to push those pins for you because they're heavily investing in the e-commerce side, as I've already mentioned, and you can have new sales for free without any additional advertising or marketing, just by people visiting your profile and seeing your shop there. So no brainer. If you have any questions, be sure to leave those below. I really hope this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.